Hey everyone, it's Paul Stevens here with iGo Sales and Marketing for another SuiteCRM tutorial. So I had an occasion where I have a client that really wanted some detailed answers about how bounce handling works in SuiteCRM. So I spent a considerable amount of time researching it, and so I thought I'd share because wow, I learned so much just sort of going through the code and understanding exactly how things works. I was having some issues personally where now I use SendGrid to send emails out, and the bounce back handling wasn't quite working. So now I totally understand why. So if you are like me or like most people and you are using a third party to like AWS or SendGrid or Mailgun or Elastic Email or something like that to send your email out, the bounces may not work the way you expect. So today I'm going to do a deep dive into how bounce handling works in SuiteCRM. I also wrote an article. I'll put a link below that is sort of goes over everything that I talk about in text and detail, and you can click there and see. And certainly, if you like what you see today, please like and subscribe. Also, I do this for a living, so if you need some help with SuiteCRM, customizations, training, just general coaching on how to set it up, those are the things I do. You can reach out to me anytime at my website. Links will be below. Okay, so anyway, let's get into this here. Okay, so I'm going to just move myself off to the side here. So let me just go and take a quick look at the article I wrote about it. So you can click through and find this. I'm going to go through some of the main points here. So what is the point of a bounce handling account in SuiteCRM? So basically, if you're not familiar, but if you're watching this video, you probably are very familiar that when you send an email out and it's undeliverable, you get a bounce back. So the problem with that is that you don't want to continually bounce emails, or a couple things can happen. If you're using your own server, your IP can get blacklisted, or if you are using somebody like SendGrid or Amazon or somebody else, if you continually bounce a high frequency of emails, they may lock your sending account because they don't want to, promote spamming people. And as an email sender, you should know who does and does not bounce and who is and is not with the company that you're sending emails to. Okay, so with any email sender, you want to manage this so that if someone bounces, you want to remove them from your mailing list. Okay, so in SuiteCRM, I'm not going to go through how to set up a bounce account. There is a documentation pretty good on how to set that up. But basically, you're going to go to admin, you're going to go into your inbound email accounts, you're going to set up a new inbound email account, and you're going to, the type is going to be a bounce account. Okay, and there's a link in my document here to the setup instructions for that. The important thing is when you're in campaigns, okay, so I'm going to just open up a campaign here. This is my test environment, so there's all kinds of craziness in here, so, but it can illustrate the point. Okay, so I'm going to open up a campaign that I did. And what I want to do here is view the status, and pardon me, I have to look behind my camera. And I'm going to want to go to the launch wizard here. Okay, so assuming I don't want to go through all the steps of setting up a campaign, so I actually have another video on that if you'd like to watch it. If you check out my channel, you'll see I have another video on how to set up a campaign and all that kind of stuff. But the important thing here I want to cover is the bounce handling account. So when you set up your email campaign, okay, you have this option here for a bounce handling account. And you are going to want to set up that it comes from, or sorry, it goes to the bounce handling account. Okay, and then there are a number of other a number of other sort of options here you have, like who is it going to come from, who is the reply to. So the important thing to note here as it pertains to bounce handling is bounces do not go to the reply to. Okay, so any server responses go to the bounce account. Okay, so like, this person is no longer here, undeliverable, all that kind of stuff, go to the bounce account. Out of office, I'm out for 2 weeks, the auto replies, I'm busy, I'm in a meeting, whatever, or actual replies that, hey, I'm interested in what you have to sell, will go to the reply to address. Okay, so that's how that works. And functionally, how that works is I'm going to show you an email here. Okay, so this is my bounce account for this test environment here. Okay, so I'm going to open this one up. Okay, and this comes from SendGrid. So this is what a bounced email looks like. And a couple things to note here. SendGrid does not return like the sort of full text of the email properly. Okay, but it does return the actual file here. So I'm going to open up the file here, and what I want to show you is the headers. Okay, so I know this probably looks like a bunch of gobbledygook here, but what we're looking for here is when SuiteCRM sends out an email, okay, it includes in the header a few specific things. So one is the campaign ID. So that's what SuiteCRM looks for when it's looking in the emails. So it knows that this bounce came back and it came from this campaign. Okay, so that's one. The other thing, when it sends it out, I don't know if I'm going to find it here. I was looking for the X path here. So SendGrid strips that out normally. Okay, so if you are sending through a third party, there's other things can go on here that are not intended. So when you send it out from CRM through your own email server, the bounce path will be, as specified in SuiteCRM, your bounce account. When you send it through a third party, they strip out the bounce. Okay, so that presents some problems. The problem that it presents is that this email here that gets returned to me, well, if you're using SendGrid or any other one, by default generally doesn't return the bounce to you. Okay, they just keep a log and you can log in and see who bounced, right? So with SendGrid in particular, I can log in. I have some screenshots here in my tutorial here online that you can go in and you can say, if I get any bounces, forward them to an email address, which is my bounce account. Okay, so now that I set that up, I get the bounces. Okay, however, they're not really formatted like a server would send a bounce back. Okay, I know this is getting complicated, but we're going to take a look at the code here. Okay, so when an email comes back, the first thing SuiteCRM does is, let me get to the right part in the code here. So this is the process bounce emails PHP. Okay, so the first thing it does is if the email comes from MailerDaemon or Postmaster, okay, SuiteCRM says, okay, we have a bounce. The whole rest of this is determining what kind of bounce it is. Okay, so you'll notice in my case here, and I'll just move this off to the side, that my bounces from SendGrid come from no reply at sendgrid.net. So SuiteCRM is completely ignoring them. Okay. So what I did here is I modified this. Now this is an upgrade safe way, but I just added, so if it matches MailerDaemon, Postmaster, or no reply, And again, you could get very specific here, and I think I might want to, because sometimes you get lots of no replies back that aren't bounces. So I would want to say specifically it's no reply at sendgrid.net. Okay. So I've made that modification, and then what happens is in the SuiteCRM says, okay, we have a bounced email. Okay. So now it's going to check for the identifiers that we talked about, so the campaign ID, and it's going to check. There's another thing it runs through here. Okay, let me find that here. Okay, so it's going to check for the diagnostic code. Okay, so it's going to run through, and when you get an email back, there are a number of diagnostic codes that tell other servers whether it's a hard bounce or a soft bounce. Okay, so a hard bounce is like the address is rejected, it's not allowed, or the server's not available, or the mailbox is unavailable. Okay, so these are different status codes that get sent back by the server. So for example, 550 is address rejected, or 510 is address rejected, 550 and then 555 is mailbox is unavailable, and 554 and 5.11. So all these are going to be determined to be like invalid emails. Okay. Otherwise, the way that the code works, SuiteCRM just classifies them as bounced other. Okay. So in my case, I might want to edit this particular code a little bit, because you can see, I get diagnostic code 5050, no such user here. Okay. And that is never, ever going to match this, which is looking for diagnostic code SMTP and then the number. Okay. So based on what SendGrid sends me back specifically, I may want to edit that. Okay. If you're not using a third party, a lot of this complication doesn't come into play. Okay. I know Amazon, for example, or AWS sends it back from MailerDaemon. Okay. So that's going to match automatically. And I think they follow this protocol a little more closely, so it might match better. But anyway, my experience is really with SendGrid. Okay, so how does that look in SuiteCRM? Okay, so let's go to our campaign here. I'm going to go back, and sorry, I'm going to view the details, looking behind my camera again. Okay, so I'm back in this campaign, and I'm going to just look at the status here, and I set this up so I would have a bounce here. Okay, so you can see I did get oops, let me go to the other campaign. I think it's this one. And I'm going to have to look behind my camera again. Okay, so this one I got a bounce. Okay, so that's the bounce we were just looking at in my inbox. And what's going to happen here, if you scroll down, you're going to see there is the bounce. Okay, and so it recognized it as a bounce because I added that to look for ones that came from SendGrid. Okay, however, so I had to restart my camera. So basically, if we look down here, we can see that we have two different classes of bounced. Okay, one is invalid and the other is bounced other. Okay, so when we're looking at the code, the first thing it says is does the message come from MailerDaemon or Postmaster, or the one that I modified from reply to at sendgrid.net. Okay, in which case it's going to say yes, it is bounced. The second determination is, does it contain the bounce code? And if it does, it will mark it as invalid and it will appear up here. When it is invalid, it also marks the record, like the contact record or the lead record, as invalid. Okay. When it's down here, it does not. So you need to make a decision of what you want to do with this. Okay. In my case, I know I have a problem. It's not recognizing the code. If I modify the code, it would end up here and everything would be fine. Okay, but again, I'm just at this point trying to get everybody to understand it. My next sort of foray into this is going to be to modify the code such that it recognizes that 550 that's in the email as invalid and puts it up here. Okay, so with these you may want to just add to a target list and maybe like add them to like an unsubscribe list or something like that, and then you'll be able to prevent them from getting emails in the future in email campaigns. Okay, so that's how that works. The other thing that's important to note, I guess, from the code is sort of how this works. Okay, so what's going to happen here is when it finds it and it has a bounce code, the next thing it's going to do is look up in the campaign log, and it's going to see if there already is a record for that email address and campaign ID in the log. If there is, it's not going to do anything. Okay, if not, it's going to create a new entry, and it's going to create either the type that is a other or a type that is invalid. Okay, based on like we reviewed up at the top what it found, and then it's going to create the entry that we just looked at here, which is this in the campaign log. Okay, the other key point here is for all this stuff to work, we need to make sure our cron jobs are running. Okay, and oops, that's not what I want. Sorry, it's behind my camera again. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, so what we want to look at here is our scheduler. Okay, and we need to make sure that a couple things are running. So run nightly process bounced email campaigns, and obviously we need to run the nightly mass email campaigns. And we also need to make sure that where are we here? Inbound mailboxes is checked. So this process here that we went through runs when, funnily enough, check inbound mailboxes is run. Okay, so the run nightly bounced email campaigns basically just says run check inbound mailboxes. So I don't really see the point of having both of them. I'm maybe there's some purpose there, but based on the way the code looks to me, that this actually runs that file, and then this basically just runs this, which runs the file. Okay, so anyway, you should have them, I guess, all of them activated to make all this work. Okay, so that's it. I also put the modification in here that I did to the code to deal with SendGrid, or if you have your own specific email, you're going to want to look at the bounces that you get back and just make sure it complies with what's in the code, which is MailerDaemon or Postmaster. And if not, then you're going to want to modify the code like I did to deal with that. Okay, I'm going to do one quick check here. Is there anything else that I need to cover? I think I've covered it all. But basically, that's how it all works. It took me quite some time to go through and dig through all that, so hopefully you appreciate it. And if you need help with emails, email campaigns, SuiteCRM, modifications, customizations, development, integration with WordPress, I do a whole bunch of stuff. So anyway, contact details are below. You can find this article on my website. And please like and subscribe if this video helped you. Thank you so much.